Kia ora and welcome to this Blackcaps versus England T20 preview. We have three T20s against England coming up. First two in Christchurch, Saturday, Monday. And then we've got a Thursday T20 before we go ODI mode starting next Sunday. So we've got a nice fun flow of Blackcaps cricket coming at you, and then the Ford Trophy starts next weekend as well, so we'll be closely monitoring that. And the thing that I am closely monitoring the mostest with regards to the Blackcaps T20 cricket is the rise of the young batters and how that is complicating matters for some of the dudes who have played a lot of T20 cricket in recent years. And we talked about these youngsters in recent Blackcaps videos on this channel. We got kind of three levels. The level one is Rachin Ravindra. He's an absolute monster, but he didn't play against Australia. But his T20 development has been a recent addition to the Blackcaps setup. He is now what I consider the best all-format batter for New Zealand, and that is because he has added some serious T20 juice to his work this year. He's averaging 42 with a strike rate of 164. That's fantastic. He's got 250s in just 5 innings, but he didn't play against Australia, and his spot was basically taken by Tim Robinson, who is in the next tier down of these three young batters. Tim Robinson, who he's averaging 86 this year in 6 innings with a good strike rate, and in a bigger sample size stretching back to the start of 2024, he's still got a good average of 36, strike rate of 137. And then we have Bevon Jacobs, who hasn't quite stamped his mark on this T20 team, did have a good innings in the Tri-Series in Zimbabwe, had a tough, kind of gritty knock, 20 odd with a strike rate of below 100 against Australia. So there's kind of 3 levels there. Ravindra, to me, is a top 5 T20 batter for New Zealand. Robinson is just outside my top 5 at the moment. And then we got Bevon Jacobs, who is on the rise, and we all know what Bevon Jacobs is capable of. That's why I like his kind of spot in a development capacity for the Blackcaps right now. Those 3 guys in this series against England have an opportunity to put a lot of pressure on Mark Chapman, who is only averaging 14.8 this year. Does have a good strike rate, but this is his second year in a row averaging below 20 in T20 international batting, and he's averaging 17.6 overall since the start of 2024. And also Devon Conway. I'm just not a huge fan of Devon Conway at the moment. He's been declining for New Zealand, and he had scores of 1 and 0 off the top of my head against Australia. So I'm not saying those dudes should be out of the T20 team right now. What I'm saying is that Ravindra coming back into the team, Robinson coming off his 100 against Australia, and Bevon Jacobs full of potential, hungry to smash some boundaries in Aotearoa. Those 3 dudes, if they get 1 score, maybe 2 scores, and continue to put up solid T20 mahi for the Blackcaps, that is going to put a lot of pressure on Chapman. And Chapman especially, I don't like Devon Conway. To me, he's not as good at T20 batting in the opening position as Tim Seifert or Finn Allen. So there's a little less pressure on Conway because I just don't really have him as a first 11 factor. But if Ravindra and Robinson especially are scoring runs, I can see a situation like, let's say Finn Allen is still out injured. You could open with Rachin Ravindra, then go Tim Robinson number 3, then you get into Daryl Mitchell and whoever else is fit and available, because remember Glenn Phillips is also out injured at the moment. So I am most interested in, as far as the batting department goes, how Tim Robinson, Rachin Ravindra and Bevon Jacobs, or should I say Rachin Ravindra, Tim Robinson, Bevon Jacobs perform, because that will have serious ramifications for the other batters in this Mix, and like all three of those young dudes, they score quickly. They got shots all around the park. Very exciting, very funky cricketers. Obviously, Ravindra's a lefty. Ravindra also offers a bit of spin bowling, and given the state of Blackcaps spin bowling right now, I wouldn't be surprised if Rachin Ravindra does get a crack, because my second thing that I'm going to be curious about is Jimmy Neesham versus Michael Bracewell. Spin bowling is a factor in this because Bracewell is currently averaging 65 in 9 innings this year, and since the start of 2024 he's averaging 45 with the ball. The only bowlers averaging over 30 this year in T20 bowling in the current squad for England, Mitchell Santner and Michael Bracewell. Santner's T20 bowling his averages have gone up in recent years, so it'll be interesting to see if Santner can show his excellence as the best spinner for New Zealand right now against England. Bracewell's spin has kind of been pretty stink. The best spinner this year has been Ish Sodhi, but he just got dropped, so I'm not sure about that situation. But getting back to Bracewell, him versus Neesham is just a funky situation because they play a very similar role. I think they play the same role, but if you're stuck in your boundaries, if you're stuck in your box about, oh, we need to have this spinner, we need to have this seamer, I maybe don't care. Just who's the better cricketer, Michael Bracewell or Jimmy Neesham? Right now it's Jimmy Neesham by a notable margin, because Jimmy Neesham, as we have talked a lot about over the last few weeks, his bowling is ridiculous. This year, similar amount of overs as Bracewell, right? Like Neesham's bowled 17 overs, Bracewell has bowled 21 overs. Neesham's averaging 10.5, Bracewell's averaging 65. Neesham's conceding 7.4 RPO, Bracewell's conceding 9.2. Neesham's got a strike rate of 8.5, which is the best of the main bowlers this year for the Blackcaps, and Bracewell's got a strike rate of 42. Jimmy Neesham's bowling takes a big old poo-poo all over Michael Bracewell. But Michael Bracewell was the T20 captain without Santner, so he's got to be in the team. And Bracewell, fair play to him, his batting has been solid, averaging 30 with a strike rate of 154. Neesham's batting kind of mediocre, as we talked about in the last video, averaging 7, strike rate of 100. So you've got strengths and weaknesses for both those two dudes. Very, very powerful left-handers. Both are perfectly situated and poised to own like the... I think Bracewell can bat 5 depending on who else is available, but you go like Neesham and Bracewell, they are perfect dudes for bat spots 5 to 7 maybe. Two very powerful left-handers, experienced. Both of them have high strike rates throughout their careers. Neesham hasn't necessarily taken his opportunity with the bat, because we go bigger sample size since the start of 2024, he's still only averaging 10 with a strike rate of 104. Whereas Bracewell in this period, solid, averaging 25 with a strike rate of 138. I take out the spin, seam stuff. I'm just curious about who is the better cricketer right now, Michael Bracewell or Jimmy Neesham for this T20 team, and I think we're going to see that play out. Like, you can have them in the same team together. It'll just take a lot of shuffling of other dudes in the T20 mixer. And of course, like Phillips is going to be in this equation at some point if he does return from injury. Zach Folks is an all-rounder who's not quite first 11 solidified. Santner can bat, but he's not necessarily a super-duper slugger. So I think having that power of Bracewell and or Neesham will be very useful, and at the moment the best pocket for those two cricketers as all-rounders is Jimmy Neesham's bowling, because his bowling is elite for the Blackcaps right now in T20 cricket. Like, his T20 average is lower than Jacob Duffy, Matt Henry and Ish Sodhi, who are all below 18. And he's been fairly economical, more economical than Matt Henry. And those three dudes, Duffy, Henry, Sodhi, they all have strike rates over 10. Neesham's below 10. Doesn't make much sense, but Jimmy Neesham's a factor, and I am interested in a little battle between him and his former Otago comrade and Wellington comrade, Michael Bracewell. The other situation I'm curious about is we have 4 young seamers or younger seamers who are not in this series against England. We got Will O'Rourke, Nathan Smith, Ben Sears, and Matthew Fisher. Matthew Fisher, his best format's a first-class bowling and one-day bowling. Hasn't done anything in T20 cricket to warrant being in the T20 mixer. That's all good. Nathan Smith, I think, will soon be in the T20 mixer, but he hasn't. I don't think he's played a T20 yet, so he's obviously not in the T20 mixer right now. Will O'Rourke's out injured, and Ben Sears is out injured. Both of them would be in a Blackcaps T20 mixer right now, and that doesn't include Lockie Ferguson and Adam Milne, who are both out injured. So you got the two OGs, the two Kaumatua, Adam Milne and Lockie Ferguson, both of whom, like Lockie Ferguson especially, if he's he might only need a series or two to make his case for the Blackcaps, and he won't need to do much to make his case for the Blackcaps because he's been a very good T20 bowler for a while. Adam Milne would need to do a little bit more to make his case for Blackcaps selection, but he's always been pretty good in T20 bowlings on the T20 circuits and all of that, so Adam Milne's always a T20 factor for New Zealand. Those 2 senior players are unavailable, but then we got 4 other seamers who are younger, who are not involved in this series against England: O'Rourke, Sears, Smith, and Fisher. I think 2 of them are definitely in the T20 mix right now, O'Rourke and Sears. And then Nathan Smith will be very, very hungry to add a T20 international to his ODIs and Test stuff so far. Fisher will need a strong summer, especially in the Super Smash, to push his case for T20 selection, but that's why he made his Test debut, because that first-class bowling, I think, is his best format, with a slightly lower average, both under 30, than his one-day bowling. But that's the state of Blackcaps bowling right now. Like, we've talked about the young batters and what they might do in this series. Robinson, Ravindra, got to keep with my rankings, Ravindra, Robinson and Bevon Jacobs, but then we also have 4 younger seamers who aren't even in the series, who all have potential to play a lot of Blackcaps cricket over the next few years. And especially with that O'Rourke-Sears duo, even then with Adam Milne and Lockie Ferguson, there's a lot of pressure on Kyle Jamieson. What is Kyle Jamieson capable of in T20 cricket for New Zealand? I think there will be a bit of pressure on Zach Foulkes as well, but Foulkes, I think he's getting a lot of T20 game time right now because you don't have Ferguson, Milne, and O'Rourke and Sears in or available right now. So I don't think Foulkes is in that top tier right now. So I don't think he's under pressure. He's kind of just filling a spot because other dudes are injured, but he is a good T20 bowler. And then we have Duffy and Henry. Duffy has been fantastic in T20 bowling over the last 2 years. Henry has also climbed his way back into the T20 team by being a good T20 bowler. And I'm curious what Henry does against England, because even though he's been a highly active T20 bowler for New Zealand and very good, if he kind of hits a plateau, or Duffy's kind of built up enough juice with his excellence, but if Henry kind of hits a plateau against England in the next few series, he might be in danger. But it's Kyle Jamieson that I am really putting the spotlight on here. What can he do against England? Because if he dominates in the T20s, maybe even the ODIs, that will make for a very interesting situation with guys like Ferguson, O'Rourke, Milne and Sears. And all these guys are pretty funky, right? Like Jamieson, O'Rourke, very tall. Sears bowls pretty quick. Ferguson bowls pretty quick. Milne bowls pretty quick. They all have good deuceras or change-ups, bit of nibble, bit of swing. And like even Zach Foulkes, who might be, like, he's ahead of Nathan Smith and Matt Fisher as far as T20 bowling goes, but he's the less fancied of those established T20 bowlers, he is a very quirky action, quirky movement, and funky skill set. So none of these dudes are like plain Jane Kiwi seamers. They've all got a bit of oomph about them, and I'm curious to see. We won't be seeing Will O'Rourke, Ben Sears, Matt Fisher, or Nathan Smith in the series, or Lockie Ferguson, or Adam Milne. But I'm very curious to see which of these seamers in the series, Duffy, Henry, Jamison, Foulkes, even Neesham, how effective they can be against an England team who are going to be pretty hungers to smash boundaries. Hopefully you're hungers for the positive vibrations today. Big up to yourself. Enjoy your day. Do your best. Cheer.